At the end of the day, that's all that really matters. I mean, if tomorrow Google's new, Gemini tools become top notch, we probably move over to there.
Built this week, breaking it down. Built this week, we show you how. A fresh idea, a clever tweak. You locked in, you built this week.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Built This Week, the podcast where we share what we're building, how we're building it, and what it means for the world of AI and startups. I'm Sam Nadler, co-founder here at Ryz Labs, and each week I'm joined by my friend, business partner, co-host, Jordan Metzner. What's up, Jordan? How you doing today?
Yo, Sam, happy to be back. It feels like we've aged a bunch, a lot of it new AI products, and it's been a crazy few weeks, at least for me. But happy to be back and fun new episode.
Yeah, fun new episode 29. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, subscribe. We have new episodes out every week where we showcase what we're building, how we're building it, and how we're using AI. And this week, we're going to demo some internal tools we built. We're also going to take a quick look at Claude Cowork. We're going to try and use it in real time, see if it works. And then we're going to cover some AI news. That sound like a decent plan?
Yeah, I mean, I think as you've seen the progression of this podcast, more and more tools are being built by you and more tools are being built using less build for me tools and kind of getting deeper and deeper into the code base. But maybe at the same time, while also getting further away from it. I don't know. You tell me. So why don't we jump into what you built this week and then we can talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, so let me just provide a minute of context. There was a couple reasons why I endeavored to build this product. Number one, and it's a tool that we use here at Ryz Labs in order to analyze the recruiting screens our recruiting team performs on a daily basis. Every day, they're talking to dozens and dozens of candidates across different stacks, and we have a pretty large recruiting team. And what this tool does, and I'll demo for it, we all now use different note-taking AI tools. It helps summarize notes, it helps, provide key takeaways from the conversation, but most of the time it stays kind of with the user. Well, we built a tool that will take the transcript of one of those kind of AI powered granolas or whatever you're using, and will analyze a recruiter's screen, and it will then, judge the performance of the screen of not only just the candidate. Is this a candidate who we should move forward? It's actually a pretty kind of loose filter. We don't want to prevent candidates from moving forward if they could be a good fit. It's the very first step in the process, but it analyzes if this is a candidate that we should move forward or not. But what it really does, that's going to be really helpful, it helps provide coaching to the recruiters. Did they miss an opportunity to drill deeper into a candidate's, previous experience? Did they cover next steps? Did they engage in a conversation about compensation? And we have a rubric of about 6, different areas that we hope our recruiters cover in a very fast phone call. It's 20-25 minutes. So it's a lot to cover, and it's hard to check off all the boxes, but hopefully with this tool, we can really help coach our different recruiters in the areas. We try a lot to make the screen experience consistent, but this now will give us some tools to be able to do that. So let me walk you quickly through this tool. Hopefully you can see it. It's got a great name called ScreenEval. This is the home page, new evaluation. So you literally take a transcript. I've got one right here for a backend engineer. Drop it in here. You can paste the job description, which will analyze the transcript against the job description, but it's not even necessary. Once you paste it in, it fills out these fields for you: the candidate name, the role, the recruiter, the interview date, and then theoretically, the recruiter will then provide their assessment. So I want them to provide their assessment before getting the take of the AI. And in fact, I never want them to change their assessment. We're really using it. There are little things that the recruiter can pick up on, potential red flags that may not be captured by the AI. However, it will hopefully give them like at least a little bit more enforcement if they made a bad decision, or the summary will give them more context on how they feel. So either way, it takes 2 seconds. You submit to see AI evaluation, and bada bing. So this candidate, your call was to move forward. AI also says to move forward.
Nice.
It gave a little bit of information about the candidate, their scores, communication experience, enthusiasm. And what I think is really helpful, it also gives me a screen performance. So solid screen overall. Rapport building was pretty good, probably lacked a little bit in follow-up depth probing questions. We did discuss compensation. We did discuss timeline and next steps. Pacing was good. It gives me potential other questions to ask. Walk me through your last technical decision, yada, yada, yada. So long story short, it hopefully, you run this through, you feel confident about what your AI evaluation says. Even if it's not the same thing, we want the recruiters to move forward with their decision. However, it gives me a little coaching on maybe some of these areas I should focus on a little bit in my next screen. And then what's really interesting is now that we have all the data of these screens, we can now search these transcripts. So all our recruiters have access to this search functionality. And let's say, we're specifically looking for candidates from Mercado Libre. Mercado Libre is the largest e-commerce here in Latin America. It is a place where we like to source candidates. They're usually a strong talent pool. But sometimes maybe it could be hard. Our ATS isn't that great. Anyway, long story short is you can search here and you can pull up all the candidates who mentioned Mercado Libre. You have some other filters here, or maybe you're specifically looking for Python candidates and you're just pulling them up here. It's a really, really great feature that we can now search not only based on their, resume, their, inbound application, but also their transcripts. And we also do have some managerial analytics here. And we got, this is the dashboard for the analytics. What's really interesting is this coaching feature. So I'm the only recruiter on this demo version. But if you click on my name, you'll get Sam's performance. So, this will look back over a period of 30 days and provides our management team some specific feedback to give to me when I'm conducting screens. It seems like I really lack in probing those follow-up questions when talking about their experience. And I could sell the opportunity of working with Ryz Labs a little better according to this evaluation. So generally speaking, this is not live yet. It's, a day or so from going live and getting tested by our recruiters. There will probably be additional fixes and features after that. But this was built in Claude Code, Supabase, and that's pretty much it.
Oh man, it's amazing. Honestly, it really is amazing. Obviously all the thoughts of just like automating, putting the notes in here so that this all gets automated as well. Jumping back into it, it's incredible. And if you could just go back to where it gave you the assessment, do you have that one? Yeah. So, just this key evidence on like why the candidate seems good, seems amazing. This is an incredible demo. And
Cool.
and then obviously here you're seeing other candidates who are similar to that candidate. Maybe there's a little bug there, but for the most part, that looks pretty accurate. And I think, as I'm thinking of this out loud, probably the next step is just to provide this feedback in real time while the interview is taking place. So let's, maybe replace Granola with our own custom built solution and, essentially provide real-time feedback to recruiters to help them provide an even better interview experience to candidates. So this is really, really awesome. Tell us a little bit like what tools you use to build it, not like kind of what it's posted on.
Yeah. It was done via Claude Code in Terminal. I think I started, which we will demo here in a second, Cowork. And I really do like Cowork, but I think like pretty quickly it just makes sense to keep it in the terminal. And then, I had Supabase. Supabase I find is very easy to understand. That was literally it. Then once I got to the point of like about to deploy it, which is where I'm at now, our stack is Amplify, AWS, and GitHub, but really once it's all connected, it's pretty simple to get it live on a Ryz Labs subdomain. So, it does take, I would say I started this Monday afternoon, today's Wednesday, and probably a total like working between meetings, somewhere in between 6 hours to complete. So like really pretty reasonable.
Unbelievable.
And we're not done yet, right? Like there's going to be feedback from the recruiters. They're going to catch bugs. I pushed like a similar product on Monday to a different team, and I've had 3 or 4 bug fixes from live testing in a live environment. But it's pretty incredible. We could build this, or I could build this with who I haven't written one line of code in my life. Full stack web app development in 6 hours that has some pretty cool features.
That's honestly, it's incredible. And so, yeah, I guess like we get the feedback from the interview that we didn't get previously. Recruiters get feedback on how they think the candidate did versus how well the system believes the candidate did. And what models are you using to power that, like LLM, like AI analysis?
Opus 4.5 for everything.
Okay, so even that LLM, like the score is coming from Opus?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, full on Anthropic stack. All right, sounds
Yeah.
good.
Full on.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like, how could somebody build something like this themselves? Like how long, how easy is it?
It's really easy. In fact, let's transition because I've got a product that is yet to be built, and I want to demo how Cowork works if I can.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so I have an idea that I have kind of queued up here. So Cowork, what is Cowork? Cowork's gotten a lot of, I think, hype in the past couple days. It's basically just like wrapper around Claude Code. I think it's an entry point for almost anyone to begin building their own, products. But it's super simple to use. It's via, as of right now, I believe the Anthropic Mac desktop app. You can see chat up here, Cowork, and then directly Claude Code, but it's pretty much the interface of chat that you're used to. And basically, I did a tiny bit of work to get started. Basically, I want to build a Hollywood fitness personal trainer, like a personal trainer who's like really focused on like aesthetic body transformation, not necessarily overall health, but to make me look as, sexy and buff as possible. And that's like the mentality. So like really progressive overload and really focused on just building muscle for like my premiere as a Hollywood star. So that's like the PRD. I gave Cowork access to the doc. So that's what's I think a little bit different of Cowork. You provided access to a group of a folder, so it has the context. And I just wrote build this, and it says I'm happy to help you build. What do you want me to build? I said check PRD and doc. Check the PRD. I've reviewed it. This is a mobile web app, aggressive upper body hypertrophy. It's a mouthful. Hollywood transformation trainer. How do you want to build it? So this is like what's kind of nice about Cowork. It proposes these trade-offs for you in a nice UI. The terminal does the same thing, but I'm going to say React and Supabase. Let's see what else. Should I integrate a real AM API for the trainer responses or simulate API with pre-built logic? Let's go real. And then let's go. I mean, we may edit a little bit of this out because it does take some time, but I mean, it's pretty simple it's working on the plan and progress. So setting up all these. So this is what's kind of nice about the Cowork feature. You kind of get an understanding in a bit more polished design about what it's doing and where it's at in the process. And then, it literally, but from my understanding, Cowork is literally just Claude Code. So I know you're a Claude Code terminal guy and probably haven't used Cowork that much, but any thoughts on kind of its approach to non-technical users?
No, I mean, I've used Cowork. I think it's a great tool. I love that you can just dump a bunch of documents in. And honestly, I don't really care what interface you use. It's gotten better and better. I even see these like recommendations. There's like a new feature that didn't have it like a few days ago. But honestly, it doesn't really matter. I think I think what does matter is using like the best tools at the time. And it seems that like these Anthropic tools are the best. And like if your preferred interface is the web or your preferred interface is the terminal or it is this app, doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, it gets you building. And I mean, they're pretty efficient building tools. I think the reason I like the terminal a little bit better is because like, can you duplicate this? Can you have another window open at the same time? Can you do like more things than once? Whereas like Claude Code, you can you could literally have as many of these as you wanted running simultaneously. So I think like it just gives you a little different form of freedom, but it doesn't really matter. Like if you, as long as it's like a gateway drug to getting like more stuff built. And I mean, look how efficient it is. I think I told you I have a skill and I can share it with you, but you can use my skill and you can get all the design features and like layouts that like I like to use in my projects, and you can copy them. And then, I think like we're going to have kind of like enterprise skills that we can use like across the board, where everybody's sharing these same skills and gets to, have products that work hand in hand together because they don't have any questions about like, what they need to do.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, you make a great point. I don't think you can open multiple windows at the same time. Maybe you can, but that is the great thing about operating Claude Code out of the terminal. You can literally have, you know, 4 or 5 terminals open working on different projects. There is, some time in between. So you're just kind of switching between each terminal window, providing context testing, going to the next one, providing a bit more, context testing, actions, boom, 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 boom. It's literally just kind of managing a team of little Claudes out there. And like the pace when you're doing it like that is way faster than kind of waiting for this to go through the progress and the plan.
Yeah, totally. But honestly, it doesn't really matter. It's all progressing so quickly, and like, what's today's interface may not be tomorrow's interface. And just like, you got to be willing to kind of really willing to change the way you work and like work flows consistently to like keep up with the tool set. I mean, this type of like chatting versus with agents didn't exist, right? And so, yeah, it's just a new fun new way to build. Okay, let's just finish up the last news story real quick. I mean, considering what we're talking about all day.
Yeah, let's maybe come back. Let's see if it builds. But in the meantime, Anthropic closes the latest funding round above 10 billion, still open, it sounds like. I think Anthropic is just on it was like a month and a half ago, Google was on a tear. The last 60 days, 30 days, whatever, Anthropic's been on a tear. Seems, it's great products being built here, but like the capital is flowing.
Yeah, I mean, as you see, like, I mean, from our side, we're shifting more and more of our spend over to Anthropic, probably less of it in from Cursor and less of it to ChatGPT. I think like, when he comes out publicly and says like, we're not focused on ads, we're focused on enterprise, that makes me feel good, like as an entrepreneur, as CEO, because I know that like, they're going to continue to build tools to support me rather than like tools to market to me. And their models are top notch. And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. I mean, if like, tomorrow Google's new, Gemini tools become top notch, we probably move over to there. Right. And so I think there is this like lag and this curve of whatnot, but, as kind of early adopters as we are, we're constantly looking for like, what's the best way to build. And, right now it seems obvious to me that, the Anthropic models are the best way, no doubt.
Totally. And also like, I think yesterday they came out with the premium tier just dropped 50%. It seems like, it's getting cheaper. Everything's getting cheaper. So
yeah, I think they have a max plan at $100 now. They still have a $200 max plan. I think the spend is, I mean, like it might be getting cheaper, but we're spending more money using it, right? And it's kind
sure.
of like a gateway drug in that regard.
Yeah.
But yeah, the tools are so good and they're so fast and they're top of the market. And I know ChatGPT is working on a new like 5.3 model or something to that extent, and Google's working on Gemini 3.5. But as long as Anthropic's coding models continue to be the best, it seems like coding is everything because these Cowork tools are just wrappers around their coder, right? And so they're still like kind of the best tools on the market. So anyway, we'll see what happens, but it's fun to be a developer in this time as you are now. And it's awesome to build things like you built today, like the evaluation tool.
Yeah. I mean, one last comment and then we'll wrap up. I mean, how do you think, you manage a larger organization alongside, me. How do you think about like now that it's almost open a gateway to everyone to be able to build their own tools? Like, how do you think about this from organizational perspective?
Yeah. I mean, I think we've talked about this internally a little bit, but everyone is kind of becoming agent managers, and like we're trying to give everybody Claude Cowork or Claude Code as like tools so they can build tools for their own jobs and, start to build kind of automation processes that help them do their jobs better. And I don't think we've seen it like in our use case of like any type of like reduction in workforce, but more of like an increase in efficiency to help teams like do better. So, whether it's like helping the finance team create invoices faster, or whether it's for, our sales team to be able to create like RFPs or, proposals faster or better or more exact or other things like that. Like we've continued to see like increased efficiencies. I think we'll see increased spend in using Claude, but hopefully we'll be able to build a lot more internal tools like the ones you showed today that like just makes the team overall better, more efficient, and kind of, the next level of that. And as we like automate your evaluation tool, as we start to build this kind of big data model and then use AI on top, like what greater insights can we draw across that entire pipeline? So anyway, awesome episode. Great one. Great talking to you, Sam. Check us out online at builtthisweek.com. You can check us out on YouTube at Built This Week. And thanks, Sam. That was a fun episode. See you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Like and subscribe.
Built